Good afternoon, elite traders. So the watch list for this week going forwards, this is slightly different to normal because I'm not too happy with the economical data. And if we take a look at the Edge Finder, there's not really too much here. We got New Zealand Swiss, Dollar Swiss, CAD Swiss, and Pound Swiss, and Euro Swiss, and as well we've got the Australian dollar against the Swiss. So it's very clear we want to be going short on these pairs, but obviously that is a bit of an exposure problem though. And looking at the dollar as well, I'm not really too happy with this in terms of trades for this week. So yeah, we're looking more at a short-term technical plays. So we've got our watch list here. So we've got how many pairs? 11 pairs for this week that have potential entries. So we've got New Zealand yen to start with. Now, the reason I quite like New Zealand yen is because if we look at the H4, we've had quite a nice stall just off of this previous resistance. Now, obviously, price came down slightly further. However, this isn't too much of a concern for me. I still view this as a valid trade to the long side. We do also have our target here back up to the previous monthly high. So if we zoom out and go into the monthly chart, we can see that our target at 97.9 is pretty valid, so we can see it right there. So this will lead to a double top on the monthly chart, which is where I would like to exit the trade, and it would no longer be valid in my eyes. But we could look for sort of a 1-to-1 or 1-to-2 in this position, depending on where the stops are. We also have silver. So I quite like silver on the daily. So this will be sort of the only swing trade in the basket for this week going forwards. So if we look here, we could have a target at the fib extension because we are quite high already. I wouldn't like to try and trade it all the way back up to the previous highs or all-time highs. I'm quite happy to take it to this fib extension, which would then align with the high back here on the 15th of February 2012. So that's sort of the game plan. In terms of technicals, we do have a fib drawn. So if we take it from this swing low to the previous highs, actually just there, we can see that this golden zone lines up really nicely with the previous highs. This is looking like a very typical break and retest. We also have a really nice trend line that's been respected. So this looks like a great trade to take, really. Friday's candles also closed bullish, so very strong. So yeah, we'll see how Monday goes, see how the markets move, and then potentially take an entry later Monday afternoon to Tuesday morning. Next thing is Euro New Zealand. Now the Euro is something I am not too happy to trade at the moment as well. And this is because of the political news that's come out of France, which I won't go into here. We spoke about that in the Discord. However, the reason I'm quite happy to take Euro New Zealand is because we have a prevailing downtrend that's been sort of continuing for quite some time now. So if we look, it started in April. So it's been going for almost 3 months, roughly. So this looks like it's quite a nice trade to just trade into the trend rather than it being more of a political or an economic trade. So I would like to see a pullback, potentially somewhere here, or if we could draw our fib from the high to the low, potentially get something along these lines here, back to this golden zone, stop above, and a take profit down to this level of support down here. And this could provide us depending on where the stops are, if you want to go conservative, we could have potentially a 3% reward. Or if you want to be more aggressive, we could even go for a sort of 1-to-8, 1-to-9. But of course, that would be very ambitious. So we'll keep an eye on that one. We've also got the Australian Canadian dollar. So this one looks quite textbook, really. We do have this level of resistance through here that's now finally been broken with large momentum to the upside. Prices come back down to these previous highs and to this golden zone. So it's a case of, is this level going to hold? Because at the moment it looks quite likely we will continue down. But yeah, we will have to monitor this. So we could, if we executed this, ideally, we could go for sort of a 1 to 4-ish, something along these lines here. Daily trend is also to the upside, so we can see very clear higher highs, higher lows are being formed. We're having a little bit of consolidation, which is where we have now seen this breakout and hopefully this retest. We can also see that this daily candle, the Friday's daily candle, closed with a rejection to the 21 moving average, which is quite nice. So now we've got the Australian yen, or Australian dollar against the yen. So again, it's very simple. We've got the fib from the high to from the low to the high. We've seen really nice rejection from this golden zone that lines up with these previous support turned resistance and now potentially support again. We could take profit up. The problem with the yen pairs is obviously the interventions by the MOF, which is the Ministry of Finance in Japan. So they can intervene at any point with no warning. So trading yen pairs for a long period of time could be very dodgy, considering we're looking to enter now with relatively tight stops in the grand scheme of things. So we might have to be a bit more realistic with targets and just trade back up to these previous highs here. Moving on, Australia, New Zealand. This one looks quite nice. So I've already got this one marked out actually because I sent this to Twitter, but we can see we've got fib high to the low. We've already retested this 50% level on previous supports, but we could be coming back up now to form a double top and retest this level. And then hopefully we can see a continuation to the downside. Price is obviously clearly in a downtrend as well with the 200 moving average. CAD CHF, not too interested in this. So this one's a little bit trickier to trade, and the reason being is we've broken past this support now. So we very likely could see a break and retest here, but this isn't enough for me. This would be sort of in the oversold area in my book. So what I would like to see ideally is a pullback to this level here. So we come back to the golden zone, back to this very small level of structure, and then continue to the downside. If we don't get this healthy pullback, then I'm not really interested in this position at the minute, where if we did sell in this area, I think we'd be selling at a discount, which is never a good idea. Moving forwards is Euro Swiss. So we did take a Euro Swiss position in the Discord on, I think it was Thursday. So I'm looking to get back into this position. So we've broken now past all levels, or all the marked levels of support. So ideally we could come back up, test this one, and continue to the downside. So this would act as, excuse me, not sure what's going on with my arrow here. That's strange. What's going on here? Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, we could get another potential move to the upside on here. So if we draw the fib from the high to the new low, this would line up quite nicely with these lows here. And then this is sort of the target area of a potential trade. But again, I'm just not super confident with trading the euro at the minute, just considering the state of things. So again, we'll have to monitor this one. If I do take any of these positions, I'll be taking the Discord as well, or sent to the Discord, sorry. Pound dollar. So if we take a daily look on here, so I'm not super happy with the dollar really, but if this trade becomes valid, I'll take it on a technical aspect, and we'll see what happens. So we've got fib from low to high as before. We've come back down. The EMAs on the daily time frame is still bullish. We're testing this 50% pullback level, and we seem to have rejected it quite nicely before market close on Friday. So this could be a sign to potentially get in long. If we can come back down to this 50% pullback level, we could enter and just target previous highs for roughly a 1 to 2 or 1 to 3. Pound yen. Similar situation here. We took a position on pound yen and take profit on Thursday. So if we let me just remove this fib here. So if we draw the fib from the low here to the high, we can see that we have a really nice level of support here. So all we need to do is take a long position from this level of support, stops just below the low, because the problem is with this one, again with the yen, I don't want to be in a long position for too long, just because we're at risk of being taken out by interventions. However, if we just have a relatively tight stop, and we could go for a 1 to 2 or 1 to 1.5 roughly, I think we'd be okay in this situation. But yeah, we'll see. I think this is probably one of the higher probability trades on the table at the minute, along with silver. So we've also got pound against the Canadian dollar, but I am not really too happy with this one because our golden zone has already been breached. So if we look here, this was the ideal golden zone here. So we've got these highs, and then that broke out and started being used as support. We've come back down now, and we've breached past the 50% level and the 618. The only saving factor is that price is still above the 200 moving average. So now it's more a case of watching this and seeing if we can get a convincing reaction around here. So that would be something along the lines of a 4-hour bullish engulfing candle right off of the 200 moving average, because we also have the RSI that's also oversold. So a few things to watch out for this week from a technical aspect. I don't think we have a very heavy news week. Let me just refresh this and see. Is this correct? June 12th, this was last week. So we've got RBA interest rates, retail sales, building permits, inflation. So we do have some news this week. So definitely keep an eye out on this, because we could see some movements in the market, especially with retail sales and inflation rates with the pound. So not too much from an economic standpoint from me this week, unfortunately. More technical things, so take away what you will. If you're in the Discord, if I take these trades, they'll be sent to you. If you're not in the Discord, feel free to join. The link's in the description.